Okay, so it's been a little while since I've dropped a video of any kind. I've been really busy as always. And last week I was on vacation away from my computer. I was checking social Galactic, but I wasn't really commenting a whole lot except for something I said. And then I got a thread based on this. This originally, right here, was, I believe this was me commenting on Vox Day's post about COVID and the vaccines or something. I can't remember the exact topic, but it was COVID related, and I basically said, if you really want to survive COVID, just stop being fat. That's literally it. Like, one thing that really pisses me off about everything is how we're pushing vaccines, we're pushing people to get it, we're pushing vaccine passports, but not for a single second on TV have any government bodies or agencies or any nonprofits advertised just simple basic weight loss to surviving COVID. Did you know that COVID has a much higher mortality rate for those who are overweight? Let this be the year that you lose those extra pounds. Like, nothing like that at all. What a crock of shit. But you could seriously survive this thing. I mean, you're going to survive it anyway. But seriously, just don't be fat. Stop being fat. This won't be a problem for you. And I basically put that here in this thread, and I basically said, ask me how to stop being fat. And of course, I did expect some responses, and I got someone who commented, and it's basically asking for help. And I want to go through all the comments now and tell people what I agree with and see if there's anything that I don't agree with. And let's just go through it. Let's see if we can help out at VNMat. So let's see. I'd love some advice on this. I've tried only 2 meals a day. I've even tried fasting. I tried walking every day for 2 months and didn't lose anything either. All right, let's unpack some of this. So, tried 2 meals a day. That's awesome. Sounds like intermittent fasting. If I had to take a guess, maybe you skipped breakfast and you had nothing but maybe some coffee or tea up until 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you had your lunch, and then you had your dinner, which is awesome. So here's the thing. Intermittent fasting is amazing. The thing is, however, in the end of the day, even if you're fasting, you can easily go overboard with calories, with carbohydrates, and it isn't going to make a difference. If you are skipping breakfast, but then your lunch is a 2,000 calorie meal, and your dinner is another 2,000 calorie meal, well, forget about it. So you're not going to lose any weight. So that's awesome that you tried 2 meals a day, but I'd love to know what those meals were, and maybe we will find out as we explore this thread. You also mentioned that you tried walking every day for 2 months. When you say that, I'm curious. You mean like you went outside and walked a mile? You walked 2 miles? I mean, everybody walks every day. Unless you're in a wheelchair, you're walking around your house every day. But my opinion on weight loss in general, and if you have a ton of weight to lose, is not to focus at all on exercise or lifting weights or anything like that. Focus entirely 100% on diet, because you really need to get the eating habits right before you figure out how to incorporate exercise in that to maybe get tone or buff or whatever you're trying to do. I think one of the biggest rookie mistakes is trying to go on a pretty hardcore diet while trying to exercise, which is really hard because exercising is going to spike your appetite and make you want to eat. So a lot of people will try this and end up gaining weight, especially if their exercise, quote unquote, is just walking. So the next thing you said, V and Matt, is that you need to do something about your metabolism. You're about to grow your own food for the first time ever, so hoping that helps. I mean, growing your own food, I don't know that there's a ton of things that you can grow that'll make you super fat, like that are super calorie dense. I feel like you said your weight was in stone, so you're probably in the UK. I don't think you're going to be growing like avocados or like peanuts or bananas or anything like that. Maybe some apples, but probably lettuce, kale, spinach. If I had to take a guess, maybe some tomatoes. None of that is going to be major weight gaining. I don't think any of it's going to really contribute much to weight loss either, unless you switch your diet to strictly eating leaves, which I wouldn't recommend. Let's go down to this guy's comment. Most likely culprit is carbohydrates. Looking at keto and other diets of that ilk, as well as resistance training, whether weightlifting or body weight exercises. And then he put this image, and it's just a white guy and a white chick at the beach, probably from like the 40s or 50s. Cool. Highly agree. I think the last 10 or 15 years has really shown that carbohydrates are the thing that has been really spiked in the diet, the Western diet in the last 30 or 40 years, and why everyone is just a little bit fat or really fat these days. Obviously not everybody, but in America, 2/3 of our population is considered overweight, and half of those people are obese, meaning really overweight. So what changed in the 80s? They started substituting fat for carbohydrates, and yeah, I have to agree. Carbohydrates is most likely the culprit. Not to say that fat is amazing. A lot of people think keto is like the best diet ever, and while it is, fat is not gonna convert to anything except body fat. The only macro of the three, protein, carbs, and fat, that isn't going to convert to fat at some point is protein itself. Pure protein, which is not easy to live off by itself. You definitely want to get some energy from fat if you're going to try to lose weight, but the problem I see with a lot of keto people is they go really overboard on the fat, and I don't recommend that. But anyway, let's go on. Walking helps, won't do anything by itself. Totally agree. Lifting weights is even better if you have access. Even a large sandbag can be used in various ways to stimulate weights. Absolutely. You could row a sandbag, you could bench press a sandbag, you could overhead press a sandbag, you could curl a sandbag. Agreed. If all you had was a sandbag, you could get pretty strong on that sandbag. However, I'm just still saying, I feel like you said you were 300 pounds. I would not even worry about lifting weights. I would just focus 100% on diet, not about exercise or anything like that. It says, depending how much you need to lose, avoiding carbs as much as possible might be crucial. Agreed. You especially want to drop sugar. Anything with sugar, sweeteners, honey, fruit, create an insulin response. 100% agreed. What do you want to achieve? Where are you in relation to that goal? Oddly enough, sometimes not losing weight can be due to not eating enough more than eating too much. If your body thinks you're trying to starve, it will stop you from losing pounds. That's where I'm going to say, yeah, I don't know about that, man. Maybe. But you're basically, when you say something like that, you're basically saying that you could go out into the wilderness and not have food for 4 months, and your body's just going to stop you from losing weight, which is BS. At a certain point, no matter what, your body will start eating itself. It has to. Otherwise, why would we even worry about sending astronauts into space, if there is such a thing, with food? We can literally let them just go up there, go into space, go on a desert island. Don't worry, your body will stop you from losing pounds. Not true. Your body fat in itself is an energy reserve. At 300 pounds, your body has basically, let's just say your body is a battery. Your battery's overcharged like 6,000%. And the only way you're going to lose weight is to start using the energy in that battery. You're going to really need to stop eating or really, really cut back on carbs and calories. And yeah, I would recommend continuing with your 2 days or even 1 day a meal. VN Matt, you said I'm a fat bastard. Never used to be, but a few years ago I just started packing on the pounds. Even though my diet never changed, I immediately started trying to deal with it, but nothing worked. Even tried exercising every morning. Maybe not hard enough, I guess. Anyway, my number one goal is to lose weight, and a lot of it. Hey man, this happened to me, just so you know. Not to say that I was obese, but I was right on the cusp of obesity for my height, which is 6'1". I don't know what that is in the UK standard. But what it was for me, I know what caused it. I basically went from being pretty active in college, pretty, out and about, walking, running, exercising, into going to a desk job. After I graduated college 10 years ago, I went straight into a desk job, and it wasn't necessarily just sitting in a chair all day. It was that and a combination of going from like pennies every week to a salary, which I used to buy burgers and fries and sodas and drinks every lunch. Like every lunch was about 2,500 calories if I had to just ballpark it. And I for sure got fat. And what happened for me was, it wasn't just that my pants were getting bigger. I was getting really bad gas. Like I was constantly burping. I constantly had like a sore, gassy, acid throat, if that makes any sense. I finally went and saw a doctor about it, and the doctor's like, hey man, you were in here like 90 days ago for a checkup. Do you notice anything about this? And he showed me a graph, and it was a line graph from the time that I last checked in for a checkup and to that day, which was I think 3 or 4 months later, and the line graph was just shooting straight up and right to the diagonal. I had basically put on like 35 pounds. He's like, dude, you just gained hella weight. The doctor was one of those real honest doctors, not one of those BS doctors. And he's like, you just need to lose that weight. Figure that out. In the meantime, here's some omeprazole. And he gave me like a prescription to help with the gas temporarily. But then I started looking into ways to lose weight, and that's actually how I found out about intermittent fasting. And that was all the way back in 2011 or 2012, almost 10 years ago. By the way, I'm not a dietitian or a doctor or anything, but I am someone who knows how to build muscle, burn fat, and stay lean from experience and from following other people online and reading books of those people who have a lot of experience with it. And usually those folks are doctors. So that's what it was for me. I know you said it happened a few years ago and you just started packing on the pounds. I mean, are you sure your diet didn't change? Mine definitely did. Also, your metabolism and your testosterone slowed down a little bit. It just happens. We get older. Not saying go on steroids or anything like that, but your ability to burn fat slows down as you get older. Don't even know how old you are. So I know your goal now is to lose a lot of weight, which is great. V and Matt, have you had any blood work done just to make sure it's not a thyroid issue or something similarly, maybe working against your efforts? You should definitely get your blood work done. But my goodness, in America, how many people use that excuse? Oh, I have a bad thyroid. Yeah, apparently like everyone in America has a bad thyroid now. It's bullshit. Most likely you don't have a bad thyroid. If you do, you can take some medication for it. But medication for your thyroid is not going to drop you 300 pounds. You're going to have to go on a diet. And you should stick with that diet, and you should learn how to turn that diet on and off for when you need to. Search for keto diet. Started mine 4 months ago. 50 pounds. Great. So this guy on our board basically said he did it. Let me just make sure I'm still going here. Yeah. 50 pounds. Congratulations to Christopher Updute. Giving up carbs is definitely hard. I'd say the two hardest parts about giving up carbs is the first 3 days when you start to get lethargic and you kind of go through what's called the keto flu. You'll bounce back from it really fast, especially if you take electrolytes like salt. You actually will need to do that stuff. The second hardest part is not what happens to your body. You get used to it, but it becomes the social aspect. Your friends want to do this, your friends want to do that, and you're that guy who doesn't want to drink this or doesn't want to eat that and has to have a special order at the restaurant, that kind of thing. But you know what? Fuck it. Small price to pay. But here you go. Success on the keto diet. 50 pounds is amazing in 4 months. Oh, whoa. Hold on. Okay. Update on getting your blood work done. Sure, get it done and get your testosterone checked. Like literally ask your doctor, I would like my testosterone levels checked. If you've been injured, it is possible that you're low T. I don't know how old you are. But yeah, if you're like testosterone levels are like negative or like, under 100, you've got major low T, and that's bad news. So, yeah. Okay. And then let's see. Excuse me. Yep. I asked you for your basics, right? And then I think you answered me at some point. All the people saying low carb, get an updo. If you're in a hurry, go 100% carnivore. Recommend red meat for the most part. Don't fear the fat. 100%. I love the carnivore diet. I prefer it over, let's call it traditional keto, where people are trying to throw in very limited amounts of nuts, broccoli, avocados, olive oil. I much prefer carnivore diet because it will put you into ketosis. It can be lower in fat than a traditional keto diet, which I like. And you get to just eat steak and eggs. What could possibly be bad about that? I highly recommend it. Right now, man, If you were to eat, let's say, 2 eggs for lunch with a pound of steak and do the same thing for dinner, and that's literally the only calorie source you had, like sure, you can have your black coffee in the morning, but if you were to eat 2 pounds of steak and 4 eggs a day at 300 pounds, you will absolutely lose a shit ton of weight, and you will do it fast. And like I said, yeah, it's going to feel weird after a couple days, and then you get used to it, and you'll be in weight loss city. You can literally Google the steak and eggs diet. It is a keto diet. It is a carnivore diet. I highly recommend it. This guy, I went on keto for experiment, lost 5 pounds, rebounded 15, didn't work the 15 back off until I went back to swimming. Point is, your mileage may vary. Keep iterating and trying. Cardio next. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend cardio. You're 300 pounds. Running on your knees is going to really hurt your knees after some time. And it's going to stimulate your appetite and make you want to eat more, not less. I'd be curious to know how this guy lost 5 pounds and rebounded 15. That doesn't sound good. I'd be curious to know what he ate on keto because, people don't realize that calories still matter. People say they go on keto, they could eat 5 pounds of steak in a day or pork and tons of calories worth of meat and fat, and they're most likely going to gain a ton of weight. Doesn't matter. You could still be in keto and gain weight, by the way. You can still pee on a keto strip, show that you're in ketosis, and be gaining weight because you ate too many calories. So you have to factor calories into it. I'd be curious what that's all about. Mediterranean diet works for me. Fresh herbs, huge flavor. I got a great cookbook for 2 and it works well. Get it right on. Excuse me. I guess I have COVID. When you do keto, you'll lose 10 pounds of water weight for the first week. If you aren't, then you're eating too much. Absolutely 100% true. If you're doing keto right, you're going to literally piss out 10 pounds within 3 to 5 days. You can look at it on the scale and you'll look thinner because all that water it's from your gut, and you just piss it out and your gut will look better. Your face is going to look thinner. After that, you're not hitting a plateau, but you're going to be burning fat and you're not going to be losing water weight anymore. So you'll lose maybe half a pound to a pound a day if you're going really hard. But yeah, you'll lose like 2 pounds a day when you first start out, and that's totally normal because it's water. The reason for that is because carbohydrates, and when you eat them, it produces an insulin response, and a hormone is released called glycogen. Glycogen is an energy source. It is amazing. When you have a full tank of glycogen and you go lift weights, you feel way stronger, but it also helps you retain a ton of water. So when you go off carbs, you start depleting the glycogen, you're depleting all the water that hormone is holding in your body. All right. Everyone is different. Before I was sick, I was 6 foot tall and 55 kg, ate ridiculous diet full of calories. After sick, eat less and put on a lot of weight very fast. Jeez, I have COVID now, guys. That sucks. I don't know what sick is. It doesn't sound good. You don't see photos of overweight people in prison camps in WW2, so if you eat a lot less, that works, but you also have to manage your help. Some find this easier, yeah. Dude, you don't see photos of overweight people any time in the early 20th century or before. Actually, pretty much any time up until the 80s. You can look at photos from America, from Western Europe. If you were a 400 or 300 pound person in 1918, for example, you were a circus attraction. You were the big fat man that people paid to go see at the circus because this shit isn't normal. There were no overweight. I mean, yeah, okay, like maybe some rulers, some kings, some politicians were fat in the past, but it was very, very rare to be fat. So yeah, now you don't see photos of overweight people in World War II prison camps, but you didn't see photos of overweight people at all before the 80s. It's hard to find, I'm telling you. Did keto for a month. Yes, you lose lots of weight, but it triggered dangerous decline in health. There are many factors. For some it's easy and others less so. Curious what that dangerous decline in health is. That sounds very broad. Hope that person's okay. Like I've said, you absolutely have to have electrolytes. You cannot go on keto without occasionally supplementing salt, potassium, and magnesium. All of which is pretty much found in pink Himalayan salt, which you can get at the grocery store. but also in steak and stuff. You got to make sure you're eating that and you're getting those electrolytes, or yeah, not good. Blood type can affect diet. O's do better with carnivore and keto, while others do without dairy or moderate. I suppose. But I don't know that there's like a certain blood type where keto is going to make them fat, to be honest. I would just still go for it. I wouldn't worry about your blood type. I feel better with moderate meat consumption, lots of eggs and yogurt, butter, and moderate carbs. Doesn't help me lose weight, but I better good eating that way. Portion might be my issue. I mean, everyone feels good eating carbs. It's the feel-good food. That's literally what it is. Comfort food is carbohydrates. And yeah, when anyone goes off carbohydrates, they're gonna start feeling a little sluggish after a couple days. Your body, it gets cranky. You're losing all your glycogen and your electrolytes. You gotta replenish, and you gotta get used to it, and you will. My diet change was not to lose weight, but to eliminate foods that could be causing problems. Not weight loss, but it boosted all sorts of health issues no one can explain. Cool. Here's where you told me you were 37. Okay, so you're like my age and my height, basically. And shamefully 300 pounds. Yeah, man, sleep apnea is because you're fat. And I think you know that. So you'd like to lose weight ASAP, especially for the wife and kids' sake. Dude, that apnea not only is keeping up your family, but it's going to kill you over time. So, yeah. I hope that you have already started implementing some kind of diet. I promise you it will work, but you can't just say, oh, yeah, I fast and it doesn't work if you're eating shit. Like, you can't skip breakfast and then go to Starbucks and get a fucking 4,000 calorie frappuccino and then call it intermittent fasting. You know what I mean? Calories are still super important regardless of keto, regardless of fasting. If you burn less than you take in, you will continue to gain weight. Matt, if you don't have significant health considerations, it equals calories eaten minus calories used. When reducing calories and some exercise, you have to lose weight. Literally what I just said. Absolutely. It really does come down to that. And I think that using keto and fasting and on top of calorie restriction just accelerates the whole process. And fuck anyone who says, oh, if you lose weight too fast, it's unhealthy. No, it's not. You know what's unhealthy? Being 300 pounds. Not to make fun of you, man. Being 250, being obese, having a ton of belly fat is the most unhealthy thing. And losing weight, whether it's slow or fast, is always going to be healthier than being in that state. I was about 80 kg until about 6 years ago. Then it's like a switch flipped with my metabolism or something horrifying. Then you hit your 30s, so your testosterone probably just naturally declined a little bit. Maybe you went to a different job where you're sitting in a chair all the time like I did. In this process, you need to qualify food and manage detox issues. If you add a lot of health issues, then it becomes exponentially more complex. Okay? When you reduce calories without fasting, your body starts storing more. So it's not as simple as a flat reduction. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Calorie restriction is the traditional way that people lose weight. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I tried the fast thing, lasted about 4 days, then felt chest pain. I figured I was probably getting dangerously low on electrolytes or something, so I stopped immediately. Okay, now what I'm saying... Okay, let me ask you this. When you say fasting, like you actually didn't eat for 4 days, because that's great. That's impressive, and that's not hard to do. But yeah, if you don't eat for 4 days, then yes, you will experience weird things, and you need to supplement electrolytes. You just have to. Go on Amazon or some health store and literally buy fasting salts, or just buy salt. That's all you need. Pink Himalayan salt. That's what people do. Professional fasters who fast 10, 20 days, that's what they do. Yes, there is a risk of death. I don't think you were having a heart attack, just so we know. Also, I'll be curious how much caffeine you were doing when you're fasting. Caffeine's great, it makes all this easy, but it can also stress the heart. So, not an expert. Seems like the basics. Again, if you have health issues, things become more complex. It's true. Sleep apnea seems to be the only issue you've discussed, which is actually being caused by you being fat, not the other way around. My food garden is almost finished being built. Looking forward to fresh food for the first time in my life. Hoping that will help a lot. It's not, dude. Not to burst your bubble. It's not going to be the saving grace unless you're going to tell me right now that you're going to switch from eating all the stuff you eat now to just the stuff that grows in this dirt. Because I'll be honest, it's really, really hard to eat 3,000 to 4,000 calories of veggies only in a day. You're probably not going to be able to pull it off, and you would lose weight. So, however, if you're just telling me, yeah, I'm going to eat my fresh food in conjunction with my existing diet, it's not going to help. You'll have some extra vitamins, but you're not going to drop 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 pounds. It's not going to happen. I have issues with extended fasting too. I try to keep it 1 to 2 times per week with at least a couple days normal eating between. That's great. Hey, you're fasting every week. I don't know what you mean by extended, but if you incorporate fasting every day, every week, that's amazing. Waiting to hear what Swirless says, but from your guys' advice, I just got to watch the calories, maybe try keto and ensure a good organic diet, maybe lifting weights too. Sound good? So, I mean, I'm basically responding now, and I think I responded a little bit while I was on vacation. You got to watch the calories for sure. In my opinion, eating out is probably the worst thing. You go sit down at a restaurant or you go order a drink somewhere, and by that I mean, my mocha frappe latte with whipped cream and chocolate drizzle, those are like 700 calories. Just don't do that stuff anymore. Don't drink soda, period. The only thing you should be drinking in terms of liquid is water and coffee. That's it. I mean, tea if you want, but I don't even think tea does anything. It's weak. But yeah, watch those calories. Try keto, yes. Ensure a good organic diet. I mean, yeah, don't eat junk food for sure. I'm not saying you need to go get organic grass-fed red meat. That's better, but it's like not going to make a huge difference, and it's pricey. I'm not saying go spend a ton of money on the highest quality beef. But yeah, lift weights. Like I said, I would definitely figure the diet thing out first before you lift. Lifting weights is going to tempt you to eat for sure. What did I say? I said at 300 pounds, you should easily be able to lose weight. You tried fasting intermittently without success. What exactly were you eating? Here we go. I said I fasted, not the intermittent type though, just a pure water fast for several days. Okay. All right. I normally eat 1 meal of meat per day, dinner, but I do have lots of carbs. Well, there you go. Lots of carbs. Cut them out entirely. All of it. Go 0 carbs. 0 grams of carbs. Just a pure water fast for several days is great, but you're just going to put it right back on if you end it. And if you should end it. You do have to eat, but I think we know what your culprit is, dude. And I love this one. Why does that keep happening? I love the one meal a day thing with meat. It should just be meat. Get rid of the carbs. Literally just have the steak and eggs for dinner, and you're going to lose a ton of weight. Rice or bread for sure. Greens. Look, keep the greens if you want. They're not very heavy in carbs. It's this stuff right here. Bread or rice. Very heavy in carbs. Going to pull you right out of ketosis. Going to over replete your glycogen, and then you're going to start building fat. If you want to keep greens for health reasons, I think... get rid of the beans. This is getting annoying. Get rid of the beans and just do the kale or spinach. But why? Okay, I can't click on people's posts. It just sends you straight to the top. Anyway. Wow, that's annoying. Yeah, get rid of the beans, but keep the kale or spinach if you really want. Not every day, maybe 3 times a week. Dude, you're 300 pounds. Just stop. Those beans, that bread, that rice, that will always be there. And don't make green juice, dude. Green smoothies, no. You're throwing in probably tons of apples and bananas to make that taste good. That's a lot of sugar, man. Don't do it. No green juice. Literally just steak and eggs for you. And coffee in the morning to get you to your meal. And water. Literally just steak and eggs. Breakfast, usually something like... So, dude, I'm super confused. Okay, so you eat one meal of meat per day. Oh, so your one meal is not one meal a day. It's just that your dinner is meat, but throughout the day you're eating tons of carbs. Your breakfast is peanut butter on bread. This is a killer right here. Okay, 2 meals in total. Dinner is above, then breakfast usually something like, okay, get rid of that breakfast for sure. Peanut butter is well, let me tell you something. You may not know this, but carbs and fat when combined is the biggest fat builder in existence. When carbs and fat are combined into a single meal, I don't know how, there's tons of science to back this up, but that's how fat is really made. Which is why pizza and ice cream, my favorite foods in the world, are also the worst foods for trying to lose weight and just gaining weight, because pizza is super fatty and super high in carbs, and same with ice cream. Yeah, man, get rid of that breakfast entirely. I would not fuck with peanut butter, dude. I would not fuck with this breakfast at all. Get rid of it. Literally just go get a coffee machine and make a cup of black coffee. That is going to increase your metabolism. It's going to spike your metabolism, dude. You're going to be in weight loss city if you just get rid of this breakfast on its own. Proportion of meat and carbs is the problem. Yes, the peanut butter breakfast is the problem. Good that you gave up soda. Rarely eat any chocolate or ice cream if that's what you're thinking. I was thinking that. Ha ha ha. Cutting back the carbs a little and add in some kind of strength training, ease into things so you don't shock your body too much, and so you can see what's working and what's not. Shock your fucking body, dude. I would. Otherwise, it's going to take forever. It's strange the weight gain happened all of a sudden. Makes me wonder if you have thyroid issues. I mean, like I said, go get your blood work, get your thyroid checked, as well as your testosterone levels. I don't know what pharmakeia is. I think that's your way of saying you don't want to take pills. Good. That's not the way to do this. Anyway, I don't want to be a gamma and cling to excuses for why I can't lose weight. I'd like to try everything in my power before first turning to the quacks for advice. I'm basically a quack, dude. But my shit is not my shit. I've just read a lot of books from other quacks who happen to be doctors, who happen to be like carnivores, who are the most jacked guys I've ever seen. So, yeah, man, I just basically repeat what other quacks say. But basically, it's that breakfast. I'm telling you right now, you'll be down to 280 in like 2 or 3 weeks if you cut that breakfast out and just replace it with a nice cup of black coffee. No cream, no sugar, 0 calorie black coffee. Sleep apnea has a positive feedback loop. Address that and it will help. Yeah, lose weight and you won't have apnea. Understand. Trying to fix things naturally is always the best option if you can. Yep. Type A blood here explains why keto didn't work. I'm type A positive, and keto definitely does work for my blood type, so that's probably BS. Sounds like a lot of carbs. You probably become pre-diabetic, and that's why you're struggling. Absolutely. Replacement cauliflower, carrots, asparagus, Brussels sprouts are all easy to make, and you can eat as much as you want. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Be careful. It takes maybe 20 to 40 grams of carbohydrates to knock you out of keto. I would really recommend you don't mess with that right now. I'm with you, brother. I'm 6'1", and I was at 300 pounds just under 2 years ago. I'm at 230 and want to be 210. That's a good weight for me. Need to wrap your mind around the fact that it's going to take time. It sucks, but it will happen. Good for you, man. I would recommend 36 to 48 hours fast twice a week and eat a carnivore diet on your non-fast days. You only drink water and black coffee on fast days. You make snake. This is it. This is this fucking guy. Jedi Bear, Agent 13. You fucking get it. This is what I'm talking about. He fasts. He eats carnivore when he's not fasting, and he's only drinking water and black coffee, and he understands electrolytes. There actually is a brand called Snake Juice, but you can also make it yourself. And you can find all that stuff. I mean, this is salt. Potassium is... You can get that in a salt variant called potassium chloride. You can also just get pink Himalayan salt, and it pretty much has all these things in it. But steak is very high, I'm pretty sure, in magnesium, so I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, Agent 13, I think you're the winner of the thread, buddy. Try and sleep well 8 hours. If you can try and go to bed by 9, 5, that would be ideal. Decrease stress in your life, maintain your walking. Yeah, man, I'm an early riser too. You fucking get it. If you like lifting weights, get into it. Absolutely, but first, focus on the diet. You really want to master the ability to go in and out of keto when you need to before you start adding in heavy compound lifting, because, like I said, it's going to make you want to lift. I'm sorry, it's going to make you want to eat, and eat big, because lifting weights depletes glycogen. How do you replenish that glycogen? Carbohydrates. But you see where I'm getting. Follow that routine for 2 weeks, see how you feel and see how you weigh, take measurements, yada, yada, yada. Good. Carbs are addictive, dude. Carbs are like the reason everyone has cancer, everyone's dying from heart attacks. Carbs are like, they're a drug, guys. Like, they don't feel like a drug. They can be sedative. You ever eat just like a ton of carbs and want to pass out? They are a drug, and that's what this guy is saying. Hunger pangs, when your stomach kind of grumbles and you feel like you need to put food in it, it's a sign that your body is ready to burn some weight. Don't listen to your body in the way that it wants you to put food in it. Just let it go. That feeling goes away 2 minutes later. 2 weeks, we'll see where we are, make adjustments. Yep, thanks everyone. Make a plan based on your suggestions above. I'm A negative. Why does keto not work for A blood type? Dude, I don't know what he's talking about, dude. I am an A positive, and keto most definitely works. It's largely anecdotal as far as I know, but look at Eat Right for your own blood type and consider their suggestions for A's, legumes, starches, and juice. Ugh. No. They're all high in sugar. Yogurts and berries might be a better option. I like intermittent fasting. I wouldn't do this. Just my thing. Yep. Armor. It's funny, though. That's what bodybuilders take, the thyroid supplement. I would definitely not do pharmakeia. I don't even know this word. There are a number of distinctive symptoms. Hyperthyroidism sounds like you, worth getting a test. The Aboriginals of Australia treated goiter by eating wombat thyroid jerky. Per my endocrinologist, some mammals and humans' thyroid hormones are the same. Perhaps under the counter, you could buy pig thyroid or cow neck meat. But dosing is super important by weight. I wouldn't look into any of this thyroid stuff right now, man. Do it naturally. But get your thyroid tested and your testosterone. Super important. If your testosterone levels are like 300, 400, 500 or higher, you're 300 pounds. I mean, those would be good numbers to have at your weight and height and your age. If your testosterone levels are like 200, 100, 50, you've got a problem. And then they can give you replacement therapy, and then you can get jacked. Peanut butter I said this. Peanut butter is a fat bomb. It's literally fat carbs, which when combined build body fat like nothing else. Yeah, this is where I talked about that. Highly suggested you carnivore. Yep. So I basically said what Agent 13 said. I hadn't even read the whole thread yet, but he got in there before I did. Good for you. I went on keto for the health benefits, but ended up losing too much weight, so I had to stop. Yeah, there you go. Now you just cycle on and off it. He knows how to do it. Yes, he mastered it. When you say carnivore, that only means no carbs, right? No, fruits and veggies are not on the table. Carnivore means meat. Carnivores only eat meat. Yeah, like when we talk about dairy, we mean like eggs and butter because they're fatty and high in, well, butter has no protein, but eggs do. No milk because there's sugar. Carnivore diet food pyramid. I would stay away from cheese. It's hard for your body to process it. It's high in fat. You know what? At 300 pounds, fuck it, dude. Have cheese and bacon. You're going to lose a lot of weight. At 300 pounds, your body's dying to lose that weight. Once you get down to like 220, you're going to have to readjust if you want to keep going. But you're going to be super happy at 220 anyway. So go for it. I'll use small amounts of zero sugar barbecue sauce and catsup. Maybe small amounts of onion, tomato, garlic. Agreed. Some meats need a little seasoning. A tiny bit of garlic powder is not going to pull you out of keto. Literally sprinkle some garlic powder, salt, and pepper is maybe 0.01 gram of carbs. It's not going to do anything. Sure. Just make sure you're not dumping on like sauce, tomato sauce, ketchup with sugar. Like, that's not going to be a good thing. I don't know about teriyaki sauce here, but if it's bad, it's bad. Yeah, you've been recommended to go see about your medical issues again. And I said, yes, no fruits or veggies right now. Literally your day with black coffee, water, and 1.5 pounds of steak. That's it. No additional calories at all. Okay? I downloaded this person. I'm not sure I'd limit the amount of meat, so strictly I'm a little 110-pound woman. I need more than that some days. A hungry guy could end up discouraged and give up prematurely. Well, this is where willpower is going to have to come in. A hungry guy is going to need to remain hungry. Hungry guy is going to need to look at that fucking beast right in the face that is called my tummy hurts and fucking tell it to go fuck off and don't give in. Otherwise, forget it. Dieting's not easy. If you want to do the super slow way, I guess eat tons of meat and like slowly lose weight, but you're not going to get anywhere, and then you're going to have a huge carb meal and just be right back at the beginning. Nicator Bear is back. I'd advocate for the 20 kilograms of sweet corn diet. I think he's kidding. Jokes aside, carnivore it is. I'm not getting sick anymore. Muscle gain is better than ever, and I feel lighter on my feet than I did without that meat I was having every day. Wow, 1.5 to 2 kilograms. That's like 4 to 5 pounds, isn't it? That's a lot. He's eating the organs too. Good for you. And 20 kilograms is a good start, but I think you need at least 80 kilograms a day to make quick gains. I mean, if you're talking about muscle gains, we're not talking about that here. If you want to drink the Kool-Aid at VN Matt, read the book Eat Rich, Live Long. I have not heard or read that book. I would recommend the book The Carnivore Diet by Sean Baker. That's the dude I'm talking about. He's like 6'4". Now, this guy eats 6 pounds of fucking meat a day, though. And he lifts a fuck ton of weights. He is jacked. There's some other guys like John Jaquish who eats like sometimes that much meat, maybe like 2 to 3 pounds of meat a day, and then supplements his with bacterial fermented protein. I read his book recently, and I bought his workout program, and I'll talk about that in a separate video because it is going to be a book review. But there are carnivores, there are like professional carnivores out there who are extremely ripped, and I will tell you, most of them that I'm aware of didn't bulk up, but rather cut down. As in, like, they were heavy and fat and then lifted weights and carnivore dieted to where they are now. So, something to think about. And then someone suggested if you followed all this to a T without results, you either have a medical issue or you're a very rare blood type or you're being poisoned. Probably just the diet, dude. I think after going through all this thread is over now. You probably understand that it's that peanut butter breakfast that's really setting your day off the wrong way. Kill the peanut butter breakfast. Kill the breakfast entirely. Replace it with 12 to 16 ounces of pure black coffee. If you don't drink coffee, you're going to love this. If you do, you're still going to love it because it's going to work a lot better. I can't imagine drinking coffee and eating a ton of food. It just like goes against what the coffee's trying to do. Also, you're going to shit your brains out every morning, which is going to also help you lose weight. Yep. But yeah, dude, give us an update. It's been about a week. I was on vacation. I kind of thought I wanted to do this video for you. I just got back home yesterday. And let me know your thoughts. But Agent 13, of all the people that commented in your question, his advice is pretty much spot on to the advice that I was going to give you and that I did give you. I follow what he's saying, man. It's the same thing I'm telling you. Black coffee, water, fast a little bit. You're going to be tempted to eat carbs. Your willpower is going to have to come in, and you're really going to have to think about your wife, your kid, how long you want to be around for them. Because at 300 pounds, man, it's definitely not uncommon for guys like you to just drop dead in their 30s, 40s, 50s. The sleep apnea thing is really bad for your heart. So you're 300 pounds and you're stressing your heart out every night with sleep apnea. Now you're going to have to think about that when you're tempted to reach for that pizza or that peanut butter breakfast. Keep growing your plants. You're going to do your weight loss. It's going to work, and then you can add your plants in. Cool, man. I hope that really helps. Agent 13 knows what he's talking about. A lot of the people in this thread knew. There were a couple things I did not agree with, but all in all, pretty good advice. And one more thing. You may be a Christian. This is Social Galactic, after all. I don't know if you're Catholic or whatever, but one of the deadly sins is gluttony. Thomas Aquinas, one of the great philosophers of the early Christian church, came up with the 7 deadly sins in his Summa Theologica. Gluttony and sloth were among 2 of them. Just something else to think about. All right, buddy. Have a good one.